was Monday, September 30th, and little report in from yesterday. On our hike out from the Mirror Lake trail, it took a lot longer than we had expected or anticipated to get out of Mirror Lake. We didn't get out until a little after 5:30. By the time we got back to camp, and I packed up the 4x5 and got ready to head over to Presque Isle River and the Manido Falls, it was a little after 6 p.m. The drive down South Boundary Road is about a half-hour drive. It's 24 miles or so to get to Presque Isle River and Manido Falls. So by the time I'd gotten over there and looked around a little bit at the falls and the two shots that I had lined up, it was approaching 7 o'clock. The sun was well over the tree line on the western riverbank, and it was fading fast. Sunset was about 7:45, and I didn't feel I had enough time to set up the 4x5, compose the shot I wanted. There was a huge dynamic range difference between the whitewater, which was metering with the gray card at about zone 5, and I really want the whitewater to be probably zone 7. And then some of the pockets in dark shadow areas on the rock and the little pockets that the water was falling into, that was metering about 5 stops difference. So I didn't really think it was worth trying to set up the 4x5 and try to work through that situation, which probably wouldn't yield a very pleasing photograph, and then I would have wasted some sheets of film. So I opted to wait for today. Today, as I mentioned yesterday, the winds are back. Yesterday we had about 10-mile-an-hour winds. It was pretty decent, manageable. But today we're back up in about 20-mile-an-hour winds, and we heard it last night in the camper. We heard the winds pick up and really start to shake the camper, and I knew waking up this morning that we'd be looking at trees bending over. Here, I forgot to mention today, we are at Overlook Falls on the Little Carp River. And we're kind of down in this little pocket where the high winds aren't really affecting us so much. So this may be a situation where we try to set up the 4x5 later on this afternoon and get a shot of Overlook Falls. Not exactly what I was looking for. There are some intimate areas in the rocks I might be able to single out, but it was one of the falls I did want to look at while we were up here. We had debated on whether we should pull out of here and head further east, or maybe even up into the Keweenaw, where the wind reports today were about 5 to 8 miles per hour. Not so bad at all. And there are some options up that way. And the color is a little bit better as well, but Wednesday is supposed to be pretty moderate wind-wise, back about 10 miles an hour. It is going to be more overcast. Not necessarily a problem for what I'm trying to shoot over at the Presque Isle River and the Manido Falls, but obviously we're not going to get a lot of that nice sun looking down and lighting up the waters, which I kind of hoped. And there's not really a lot of reflectivity from the leaves anyway. I didn't really want to leave without those two shots. That was something that was on my to-do list here. So we may just drive out about a couple hours inland towards Mast and just the base of the Keweenaw. That's a day trip thing we could probably do and get back here. So that's an option. Not sure what we're going to do. But at any rate, this is pretty beautiful here. It's a nice little falls, and it might be worth setting up the 4x5 for a shot of one of these isolated falls here. But we'll see. Still a beautiful trip. Glad to be up here. So we're back up at Manido Falls here on the Presque Isle River in what's considered by most pros prime image making time. Prime image making light. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. And as we all know as pros, this is the best time of the day to shoot. When the sun is directly overhead and everything's lit up perfectly. That's what we want. Just like when I set my flash right on my hot shoe on my camera to take photos. At any rate, we're here testing it out to see what the wind conditions are like. It is still pretty windy out here, but it's on and off. And the composition that I picked out is actually right over here to my left. And it doesn't really require still conditions. However, I was concerned about the 4x5 being blown over, the winds whipping across from the southwest. But it's not too bad right now, and I'm hoping it'll hold out and we'll be able to actually make our first image from this trip, because it would really be a bummer to come all the way up here and not get a shot, but sometimes that happens. So it's, like I said, it's about 2:30, and we'll probably head back to the camper and grab something to eat, kill some time, and head back out here maybe about 4 o'clock to start setting up and watch the light, take some meter readings and see what happens. I was metering it last night just to check it out, and there was quite a dramatic difference between the white water that's falling into this little chasm or circle cut out by the waterfall versus the surrounding rock layer. Quite a difference in stops. The white water I wanted to be about zone 7, and it was metering to the gray card about the same as the gray card zone 5. So I would have to bump that up 2 stops, but there was a significant difference between the inside detail of the cutout, the carving that the water's done with the rock, and that wouldn't give me any detail in there whatsoever. This again was at 6:45, where the sun was well beyond the trees in the hill behind us. So I'm hoping to catch it maybe around 5:36 p.m. We've got a lot of cloud cover, wispy cloud cover today. It's breaking through. There's some highlights coming through, but I'm hoping that that'll catch those clouds a little bit and act as a softbox and maybe give me some catch light on the inside there, some fill light. And I may need to use a 2-stop grad filter on the surface area of the rock outside of the hole that's been carved out, which is fine, which is cool. That's what control is all about. The other composition I picked out that I really want to take away from here is just behind me, which doesn't have really any water other than the 2 holes in the rock that have become a pool. And there's quite a significant difference in stops between those as well, as you can imagine. But I'm going to pick one today, and it's going to be the first shot here, and then we'll see what tomorrow or the next couple days yields us, and if it's possible to shoot this. Like I said, wind's on and off. It kind of dies out still, and then it picks back up, but nothing significant enough that would blow over the 4x5, which is what I'm concerned about. And I have a sandbag. I just don't want it vibrating the camera with a longer exposure, obviously. So we'll check it out. Stay tuned.